their family, and this is a heartbreaking thing. To that, if you don't die from the bombing, you will die from hunger or fear or pollution or diseases. We are in dire need of this ceasefire and a permanent truce. We have been waiting for it for 10 months, and every time they say that they are about to reach a truce, but they are liars and our feelings are being manipulated. The current situation in Gaza is incredibly dire. The reported death toll of 40,000 people is truly heartbreaking and has a profound impact on everyone in Gaza. This devastating losses not only causes immense grief, but also deepens the struggles and trauma in the region. Families and communities are shattered, and the emotional and psychological toll is overwhelming. The impact of such a significant losses ripples through every aspect of life in Gaza, leaving a lasting mark on individuals and the community as a whole. Healing from this tragedy will require immense support and resilience from the people of Gaza. Thank you for listening to me.
And yes, thank you, Elham, there with one of her regular updates. The BBC's Gaza correspondent is Rushdie Abuluf, who is joining me today from Istanbul. And we have to remind people that international journalists are not allowed to enter Gaza to report. Is that?
Yes, yeah, until now, no journalists were allowed, and most of the journalists were out of Gaza for security reason and for safety reason. There is still few remaining journalists, local Palestinian journalists, who work hard to deliver the message from Gaza.
Yeah, and I think this is probably one of the problems that many people, researchers, analysts are having with these figures, is the reliability. How many sources can verify if we don't have international journalists there, and the source of the figures as well. So let us just discuss that for a start. How reliable are the figures that have come from the Israel Health Ministry?
Yeah, look, I mean, as you know, I worked and lived in a hospital for about a month when we were displaced from Gaza into Khan Yunis. So I was closely monitoring the way they are functioning and working. The number 40,000 means that 40,000 people were either arrived into the hospital or were buried, and they issue, death certificate for them. But they said there is another 10 or maybe 15,000 people who are missing under the collapsed building and who are not buried yet and not registered yet. What they are doing, that every hospital, every function hospital, within 24 hours, they register every death, and then they calculate them and they put them in a like figure sheet, and then they feed them to the they have like regular update about the number of people killed, registered, and buried. And so far, I think the UN and most of the international, organization, they rely on the Hamas-run ministry figure on this. I have seen document of people, names and the registration number and ID numbers and the place where they were killed. So this seems to be, when I was in the hospital, working day by day, that they were accurate. Well, for a very long time, we are unable to verify some of the accounts and information in Gaza, because, as you mentioned in the beginning, foreign journalists and most of the veteran Palestinian journalists are not there anymore to check and verify the mechanism that they were the procedure of counting and putting the figure within Hamas run ministry.
And not even that, this doesn't even include that risk figures will go up once we start to account for hunger and disease. So you begin to understand why there is so much hope, and the pressure peace talks. What can you tell us about this?
Well, still very time will succeed or reaching an agreement. Well, we understand from like several Hamas sources that they are not taking part in the negotiation because they said we are not going to negotiate for the sake of negotiation. They said we have agreed upon back on July the 2nd on the Mr. Biden plan and the UN resolution, and we want a roadmap to implement this. Well, you know, the Hamas headquarters is in Doha, so there is a Hamas people in Doha all the time, and we understand that even Hamas statement will not reflect if there is a real effort on the table, if there is a real deal on the table. Then the mediators will work hard, you know, to achieve this. The Qazaris and Egyptians will find a way to get Hamas engaged and understand what's going on. So it's a matter of there is a deal, serious deal on the table or not. And I think there is a deal on the table. Hamas will be engaging and will be responding to this, despite all of their statements saying that we are not sending a delegation to participate in the talks.
Okay, Rushdie Abdul, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Okay, I must apologise. I've got a real little frog in my throat at the moment. I think it's the weather, so I do apologise. I've been coughing all over the place. So sorry about that. Anyway, to North Korea, and tour operators have announced that the country will be opening up for international tourism soon. The border opening comes after nearly 5 years of border closures due to the COVID pandemic. The BBC's Asia business reporter, Pierre-Antoine Denis, has been following the story for us, and he joins me now. Pierre-Antoine, my eyebrows were raised when I first heard this. I went, what? North Korea? Yeah, I mean, what other reaction has there been to this?
You don't fancy it, Question? You don't fancy it?
Wait, maybe changing career first.
exactly, changing career, yeah, I agree. Yeah, on top of it, anyway, you got a bit of time, first off, because there is no trip planned at least until December. That's according to the tour operators that made the announcements. And the Chinese offices, because most of the Chinese the tourists coming to North Korea are Chinese. I'll get into this in a short while. But if you want to go to North Korea, only one city will be available and on the agenda. It is Samgyeon. It is not Pyongyang. Samgyeon is this mountainous, completely rebuilt city. It's at the base of the country's highest and most sacred mountain, the Mount Baekdu, that is believed to be the birthplace of the father of Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il. And so Kim Jong-un spent years and poured huge resources into developing this area and created this vast project that has apartments, it has ski resorts, it has hotels, even a stadium. So he's actually quite desperate for tourists to come in and fill the place.
But North Korea is very secretive, and we all know what tourists do with their phones and their cameras.